Sometimes life gives you second chances in the most unexpected ways, Emma whispered, tears streaming down her face as she watched Michael play with his daughter in the park. 3 years ago, she would have never imagined herself here, falling hopelessly in love with the quiet, overworked single father she had once threatened to fire. If you're curious to see how this powerful CEO who swore never to mix business with pleasure ends up finding her soulmate in the most unlikely place, stick with this story until the very end. You won't believe the emotional journey these two take to find their way to each other. If you're enjoying this story of unexpected love and second chances, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming tales that remind us all that love can find us even when we've stopped looking. Your support helps us bring more content like this to life. The morning Emma Montgomery became CEO of Montgomery Enterprises was the same morning Michael Chen was late to work for the first time in his 5 years at the company. His daughter Lily had woken up with a fever, his regular babysitter had cancelled, and the backup sitter was unavailable. At 34, Michael had spent the last 3 years mastering the delicate balance of being both mother and father to his little girl after his wife Sarah's sudden death. Most days, he managed. Today wasn't most days. "I'm so sorry," Michael apologized breathlessly as he rushed into the conference room 20 minutes late, his tie askew and dark circles under his eyes. "My daughter." Emma Montgomery's piercing blue eyes cut through his explanation like ice. At 36, she had built a reputation as brilliant but merciless, the woman who had turned her father's struggling company around through sheer force of will and ruthless efficiency. "Mr. Chen," she interrupted, her voice controlled and cool. "I understand personal emergencies happen, but this meeting was scheduled weeks ago to introduce me as the new CEO. Your absence was noted by everyone, including our board members." Michael felt his cheeks burn with embarrassment. Around the conference table, colleagues averted their eyes. He had hoped the presentation he'd spent weeks preparing would impress the new CEO. Now he wondered if he'd even have a job by the end of the day. "It won't happen again," he promised, taking his seat. Emma's perfectly arched eyebrow raised slightly. "See that it doesn't." What Michael couldn't know was that Emma had spent the morning reviewing personnel files. His had stood out, a brilliant marketing strategist with innovative ideas who had gradually taken fewer risks and requested more flexible hours over the past 3 years. Her father had noted Michael's potential but also his increasing unwillingness to put in the extra hours that advancement required. Emma saw inefficiency. She had no idea she was looking at a man drowning in grief while trying to raise a child alone. Over the next 2 months, Emma pushed her team relentlessly. Montgomery Enterprises was on the cusp of a major international expansion, and she needed everyone operating at peak performance. She noticed that while Michael's work was exceptional, he was always the first to leave and often seemed distracted. After he declined an important dinner with clients citing family obligations, Emma decided it was time for a serious conversation. "You wanted to see me?" Michael asked, standing in the doorway of her office late one afternoon. "Close the door," Emma instructed, not looking up from her computer. When she finally raised her eyes, she found herself momentarily distracted by how tired he looked. Not just tired, exhausted in a bone-deep way she recognized from her own mirror during the years she'd spent caring for her father during his illness. "Your performance is concerning me," she said bluntly. "You have incredible potential, but your commitment seems divided. I need to know if you're fully invested in this company's future." Michael's jaw tightened. "I deliver quality work consistently and meet every deadline. But you're not exceeding expectations. You're not reaching for more." Emma leaned forward. 3 years ago, you were on track for leadership. What changed?" The question hung in the air between them. Michael hesitated, then decided honesty was his only option. "My wife died 3 years ago," he said quietly. "Cancer. It was quick, diagnosis to death in 6 months. Our daughter was 3. I'm all she has now." Emma felt as if she'd been doused with cold water. I didn't know. It's not in my file." Michael's voice was steady. I don't talk about it at work. But yes, my priorities shifted. I deliver excellent work within the hours I'm here because I have to pick up my daughter from after-school care by 6. I can't stay for drinks with clients because I don't have a spouse to cover for me. I can't travel internationally without extensive planning. Emma found herself speechless, a rare occurrence. She had judged him without knowing his full story. Worse, she recognized her father in Michael, the father who had postponed board meetings to attend her school plays, who had built a company while never missing her birthdays. I understand if that doesn't fit your vision for the company, Michael continued, his voice gaining strength. But I won't apologize for being a good father. That's the most important job I have. Emma studied him for a long moment. No, she finally said. You shouldn't apologize for that. She paused. I need to rethink some things. You can go. That night, Emma couldn't sleep. She kept seeing Michael's face, the quiet dignity, the exhaustion, the determination. She had built her career on being perceptive about people, yet she had completely misjudged him. Worse, she had almost discarded a valuable employee because she had forgotten what her father had always told her, that Montgomery Enterprises was built to support families, not destroy them. The next morning, Emma made a decision that surprised even herself. She would find a way to keep Michael's talent without forcing him to choose between his career and his child. It was simply good business, she told herself. Nothing more. What Emma didn't anticipate was that her decision would change the trajectory of not just Michael's life, but her own as well. The company picnic the following weekend provided Emma an unexpected window into Michael's world. She had attended out of obligation, planning to make a brief appearance before retreating to her weekend work. Instead, she found herself captivated by the sight of Michael laughing as he pushed a small, dark-haired girl on the swings. Lily Chen had her father's expressive eyes and a smile that seemed to light up the entire park. Emma watched as Michael knelt to tie his daughter's shoe, listening intently as the child chatted animatedly. The tenderness in his face struck something deep inside Emma, a longing she had buried beneath ambition and achievement. Ms. Montgomery. Lily noticed her first, waving enthusiastically. Daddy says you're the boss of everything. Emma couldn't help smiling as she approached. Not everything. Just the company where your dad works. Michael looked mortified. Lily, remember what we said about indoor voices? But we're outside, the little girl protested logically, making Emma laugh. She has a point, Emma said, surprising herself with how comfortable she felt. You must be Lily. I've heard you're quite the artist. The child's eyes widened. Daddy told you about my drawings? He has a few in his office, Emma admitted, remembering the colorful artwork she'd noticed but never really examined. They're very good. Michael was watching her curiously, as if seeing her for the first time. Emma felt suddenly self-conscious in a way board meetings never made her feel. Would you like to see me do the monkey bars? Lily asked. Daddy says I'm the best monkey bar climber in kindergarten. Before Emma could respond, Lily had grabbed her hand and was pulling her toward the playground. Emma shot a helpless look at Michael, who shrugged with an apologetic smile. Once she decides you're her friend, there's no escaping, he explained, falling into step beside them. For the next hour, Emma Montgomery, feared CEO and notorious workaholic, found herself judging handstand contests, applauding monkey bar achievements, and engaging in serious debate about whether chocolate or strawberry ice cream was superior. By the time Lily ran off to play with some other children, Emma realized she was having more fun than she'd had in years. She's amazing, Emma said sincerely, watching the little girl organize the other children into some complex game involving hopscotch and imaginary lava. She is, Michael agreed, his voice soft with pride. She's the reason I get up every morning. He glanced at Emma. Thank you for being so kind to her. You didn't have to do that. It wasn't kindness, Emma admitted. She's genuinely delightful. She hesitated, then added, "You're doing a wonderful job with her. I can see why you've made the choices you have." Michael studied her face. "You're not what I expected," he said finally. "What did you expect?" "The ice queen everyone talks about," he said bluntly, then winced. "I'm sorry, that was inappropriate." Emma laughed, surprising them both. "Don't apologize. I cultivated that reputation deliberately. It's harder for women in leadership. Being feared is sometimes easier than being respected." "And is it easier than being happy?" Michael asked, then immediately looked as if he regretted the question. "I'm sorry, that's none of my business." But the question lingered between them, and for the first time in years, Emma allowed herself to consider it. Was she happy? She had achievement, success, recognition, but when was the last time she had laughed as freely as she had with Lily today? The moment was interrupted by Lily's return, demanding her father judge a cartwheel competition. As Michael excused himself, Emma realized she didn't want the afternoon to end. The realization unsettled her deeply. The following week, Emma implemented a company-wide flexible work policy. The official reasoning was to improve employee retention and productivity, but she knew the truth. She couldn't stop thinking about Michael's situation and wanted to make his life easier. What she hadn't anticipated was finding herself regularly stopping by his office with questions that could have been handled by email, or scheduling meetings that could have been phone calls. When the Tokyo client crisis hit, requiring someone to fly to Japan immediately, Emma made another uncharacteristic decision. "I'll go with you," she told Michael after explaining the situation. "We'll take my private jet. You can bring Lily. We'll arrange for childcare during the meetings, but you'll be able to be with her mornings and evenings." Michael stared at her in disbelief. "You want me to bring my 6-year-old on a business trip to Tokyo? Is that so strange?" Emma asked defensively. "The client specifically asked for you. They were impressed with your campaign proposal. And this way, you won't have to worry about arranging extended childcare." What Emma didn't say was how much she had enjoyed the little girl's company at the company picnic, or how she had found herself wondering what it would be like to spend more time with both Lily and her father. The Tokyo trip changed everything. Watching Michael navigate client meetings with the same attentive focus he gave to his daughter's stories revealed a man of extraordinary emotional intelligence. Emma found herself sharing meals with Michael and Lily, helping the little girl with her reading assignments, and staying up late discussing business strategy with Michael after Lily went to sleep. On their last night in Tokyo, after Lily was tucked in, Michael and Emma stood on the hotel balcony, the glittering cityscape spread before them. "Thank you for this," Michael said quietly. "Not just the accommodation with Lily, but for trusting me with this client. I know how important they are to the company." Emma turned to face him. "You earned it. Your work is exceptional. Can I ask you something personal?" Michael ventured. Emma felt her heart rate increase inexplicably. "You can ask. Why aren't you married?" "I mean," he flushed, "that came out wrong. I just mean, you're successful, brilliant, beautiful." He trailed off, looking embarrassed. "Beautiful?" Emma repeated, her voice uncharacteristically soft. "You must know that, Michael said, his eyes not leaving hers. Emma looked away, unexpectedly vulnerable. "I was engaged once. 8 years ago. He said he loved my ambition, my drive. Then my father got sick, and I took over more responsibility at the company. Suddenly my ambition was cold and unfeminine." She gave a bitter laugh. "He wanted me to step back, focus on planning our wedding, think about starting a family right away. When I wouldn't, he left." Michael was quiet for a moment. "He was a fool," he said finally. "Was he?" Emma asked. "I've built a life around achievement, around being the best. But sometimes I wonder." She stopped, shocked at herself for revealing so much. "Wonder what?" Michael prompted gently. "If I've missed something essential." Emma rarely allowed herself this kind of honesty. Watching you with Lily, I see what real love looks like. It's beautiful and terrifying. It is terrifying, Michael agreed. Every day I worry I'm not enough for her, that she needs a mother, a more complete family. He looked at Emma directly. But I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. Something passed between them then, a moment of understanding so profound it left Emma breathless. For the first time in years, she let herself imagine a different kind of life, one where achievement and love weren't mutually exclusive. Back in New York, Emma found reasons to include Michael in more projects, to schedule working lunches where conversation inevitably drifted from marketing strategies to personal philosophies. When Lily's school called one day because the child had developed a fever, Emma didn't hesitate. "Go," she told Michael, interrupting a crucial meeting. "Family first. We'll handle things here." The gratitude in his eyes stayed with her all day. That evening, against all her better judgment, Emma found herself picking up soup from her favorite deli and driving to the address she'd looked up in Michael's personnel file. She told herself it was simple concern for a valuable employee, nothing more. Michael's surprise when he opened the door was evident. "Emma? Is everything okay at the office?" "I brought soup," she said, feeling suddenly foolish. "For Lily. And for you. It's my grandmother's recipe, well, the deli's version of it." Michael's face softened. "That's incredibly thoughtful. Please, come in." His apartment was modest but warm, filled with photographs and Lily's artwork. The little girl was curled up on the couch watching a movie, her face lighting up when she saw Emma. "Ms. Montgomery," she exclaimed, then coughed. "Did you come to have a sleepover?" Emma laughed, feeling her cheeks warm. "No, sweetheart. I just brought some soup to help you feel better." "Daddy makes soup from a can," Lily confided. "It's not very good." "Hey!" Michael protested with mock offense. "I add extra noodles." The easy affection between them made Emma's chest ache with unexpected longing. She stayed longer than she'd intended, helping Michael coax Lily into eating, then reading to the child until she fell asleep. "You're a natural with her," Michael observed as they sat at his small kitchen table afterward, drinking tea. "Hardly," Emma said. "But she makes it easy. She's special." "Like her mother," Michael said softly, and Emma felt an irrational flicker of jealousy. "Tell me about her," she said. "Your wife." Michael looked surprised, then thoughtful. "Sarah was sunshine. Always laughing, always finding the bright side of everything. We met in college, she was an elementary school teacher." His eyes grew distant. "She loved children. It destroyed her that she wouldn't see Lily grow up." Emma reached across the table and took his hand without thinking. "I'm so sorry." "The hardest part was learning to be happy again," Michael continued, not pulling his hand away. "For a long time, I felt guilty whenever I laughed or enjoyed something. Like I was betraying her memory." He looked directly at Emma. "But she made me promise not to do that, not to stop living." "And have you?" Emma asked softly. "Started living again?" Michael's gaze was steady. "I'm beginning to." The moment stretched between them, electric with possibility. Then Emma's phone rang, a client emergency that couldn't wait, and the moment was gone. But something fundamental had shifted. Over the next few months, Emma found herself increasingly drawn into Michael and Lily's world. It began with professional pretexts, working dinners that somehow included Lily, weekend strategy sessions in the park while Lily played nearby. Soon, there were no pretexts at all, just Emma joining them for movies, for Saturday morning pancakes, for trips to the museum. Emma Montgomery, who had built her life around control and independence, found herself falling in love not just with Michael, but with his daughter and the life they offered, messy, complicated, and more fulfilling than anything she had known. For Michael, the transition was equally profound. He had believed that part of his heart had died with Sarah, that he would never feel that kind of love again. Yet here was Emma, not replacing what he had lost, but creating something new and unexpected. He watched her teach Lily to bake cookies, saw the tender way she listened to his daughter's endless stories, observed her fierce intelligence alongside her growing vulnerability, and knew he was falling in love. But neither was ready to acknowledge what was happening. Emma feared destroying the delicate balance they had created, worried that admitting her feelings would jeopardize both their professional relationship and the precious connection she had formed with Lily. Michael was haunted by guilt, not just about Sarah, but about the complications a relationship with his boss would create. The breaking point came unexpectedly. A photograph appeared in a business publication, Emma, Michael, and Lily at a public event, the little girl between them, all three laughing. The caption speculated about the nature of their relationship, noting the surprising transformation of Ice Queen Montgomery into what appeared to be a family unit. The board called an emergency meeting, concerned about impropriety and favoritism. Michael was mortified, offering his resignation immediately. Emma refused to accept it but agreed to transfer him to a different department to avoid any appearance of impropriety. That night, Emma arrived at Michael's apartment unannounced, her face pale with determination. "I almost lost my father's company today," she said when he opened the door. "The board questioned my judgment, my focus, my priorities. They suggested I was allowing personal feelings to cloud my business acumen." She paced his living room, agitated. "And you know what I realized? They were right." Michael felt his heart sink. "Emma, I'm so sorry." "No, let me finish," she interrupted. "They were right, and I don't care. Because for the first time in my life, I've found something that matters more than the company, more than achievement, more than control." She stopped pacing and faced him directly. "You and Lily, you've shown me a different kind of life, one with messy emotions and uncertainty and so much joy." Michael stared at her, hardly daring to believe what he was hearing. "I'm in love with you," Emma said simply. "And I'm in love with your daughter. And I'm terrified because I don't know how to do this, how to be part of a family, how to balance love and work, how to be worthy of the trust Lily places in me. But I want to try." Michael crossed the room in 3 strides, taking her face in his hands. "I've been in love with you for months," he admitted. "But I was afraid of complicating your life, afraid of risking Lily's heart, afraid of betraying Sarah's memory." "And now?" Emma whispered. "Now I'm only afraid of losing you," he said. "Sarah would have liked you, you know. She would have approved." When Michael kissed her, Emma felt as if everything in her life had been leading to this moment, every choice, every struggle, every achievement preparing her for this unexpected gift. Their path wasn't easy. The company gossip was relentless. Michael transferred to a different division, determined to succeed on his own merit. Emma faced skepticism from the board and had to prove repeatedly that her personal life didn't detract from her business acumen. In fact, it enhanced it, giving her new perspective and balance. The biggest challenge was Lily. While the child adored Emma, the transition to a more defined relationship required patience and honesty. There were difficult questions, tearful nights, fears that Emma might leave them. Emma learned that love wasn't just grand gestures and passionate declarations, it was showing up consistently, day after day, being present for school performances and nightmares and ordinary Tuesday dinners. 6 months after their first kiss, Michael took Emma back to the park where she had first played with Lily. As the little girl fed the ducks, he took Emma's hand. "I've been thinking about something you said the night you came to my apartment," he said quietly. "About being worthy of Lily's trust. The truth is, you've more than earned it. You've shown up for every important moment, and for all the unimportant ones too." Emma squeezed his hand, watching Lily with affection. "She makes it easy to love her. Like her father." Michael turned to face her fully. "I never expected to find love again after Sarah died. I thought that part of my life was over, that being Lily's father was enough. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. "But you've shown me that life can surprise you, that second chances exist, that love can be different but just as real." Emma felt tears gathering as he opened the box to reveal a simple but elegant diamond ring. "I've seen countless women in my life," Michael said softly, echoing words Emma had once said about powerful men in business, "but only you make me feel this way, like I'm home, like I'm whole, like anything is possible." "Yes," Emma whispered before he could even ask the question. "Yes to everything, to you, to Lily, to building a life together." As they embraced, Lily noticed and came running over. "Are you going to be my mom now?" she asked Emma directly, with a child's unfiltered honesty. Emma knelt to the little girl's level. "I would be honored to be your mom," she said carefully. "But I know you already have a mom who loved you very much. I'd like to be an additional mom, if that's okay with you." Lily considered this seriously, then nodded. "I think my first mom would like you," she decided. "Daddy's happier when you're here." "Me too." As Michael pulled both of them into his arms, Emma realized the truth of what she had discovered, that real power wasn't found in boardrooms or bottom lines, but in the courage to be vulnerable, to love without guarantees, to build a family out of broken pieces and make it stronger for having been broken. 3 years later, Emma sat on that same park bench, watching Michael play with Lily and their 1-year-old son James. Her company had continued to thrive. In fact, her more balanced approach to leadership had resulted in record profits and employee satisfaction. Michael had eventually returned to Montgomery Enterprises, heading up a new division focused on family-friendly products. But the greatest achievement of Emma's life wasn't measured in stock prices or market share. It was in Lily's trust, in Michael's love, in baby James's laughter. It was in learning that second chances sometimes come disguised as challenges, that the most powerful position isn't CEO but partner and parent, that vulnerability isn't weakness but the greatest strength of all. Sometimes life gives you second chances in the most unexpected ways. Sometimes the ice queen melts, the grieving heart heals, and the broken family becomes whole in a new and beautiful configuration. Sometimes the most powerful love story isn't about how two people meet, but about how they choose each other, day after day, through challenges and joy, creating a future neither could have imagined alone. "I've seen countless men," Emma whispered, tears streaming down her face as she watched Michael play with their children in the park, "but only you make me feel this way." And that, in the end, is the most powerful feeling of all. If you enjoyed this story of unexpected love and second chances, please hit that like button and subscribe for more heartwarming content that reminds us all that life's greatest surprises often come when we least expect them. Your support means everything to us and helps us continue bringing stories that touch the heart and uplift the spirit. Leave a comment below with your thoughts or share your own story of finding love in unexpected places.